that audio issue from earlier. Let us now start and talk about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Now, why isn't this fight happening? What are the implications of what is going on in terms of why this fight is not happening? And also, why is it taking a long time for Dricus and Khamzat to get this fight going? What are some of the reasons behind it? We're going to talk about all of that. Okay, there's a lot to talk about with that. There's a lot to discuss. There's also going to be many reasons and implications towards UFC 315. We're going to talk about the legacy of George St-Pierre as Belal Muhammad and JDM are set to take on each other for that same belt that George St-Pierre held with absolute prestige. I think the 170 division was made by George St-Pierre. Of course, the 170 division always had stacked members in it, right? Even back in the days, during the Matt Hughes, Matt Serra, Jason Mayhem Miller, all of that. During those days, the UFC's 170 division was still very tough. And today, even tougher, even way more stacked than ever, right? Belal, JDM, Ian Gary, Carlos Prates, Shafkat, all these guys that could easily have probably given George St-Pierre some serious problems back in the days. Quite frankly, because of the fact that they are specialists in what it is that they do. So, let me give you guys a little bit of a view of Sacramento right here. All right, so everybody in the chat, let me know if you guys can properly hear me. So here we are, downtown Sacramento as we speak. All right, so let me know if you guys can hear me right there, just so I can make sure that I don't have the same audio problems as I did earlier. So just trying to make sure that everything is good here. So yeah, please let me know before I start cooking. Good luck. FS214 says good luck. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Can you hear me, by the way? I just want to make sure I have my audio on correctly from earlier, because we are about to discuss Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. Now, why hasn't this fight been announced yet? Dana White at the press conference during Kansas City, post-fight Kansas City, he mentioned something to the effect that this fight is happening. I can hear you. Awesome. Okay, good. So we do have good audio going. Thank you, FS, for letting me know that. So he said in the Kansas City post-fight press conference that this fight is happening. He just doesn't have a date. There's people out there like Chael Sonnen, who is sort of a con man in a way. Chael Sonnen will lie for work. You understand? And when I mean work, I mean like work in a professional wrestling setting. Like he will say something to the effect of, yeah, of course this fight is happening, guys. I know for a fact that this fight is happening. I talked to all the UFC staff behind the scenes. And here's the thing. There's a lot of ambiguous language with that statement, right? You see, you know that this fight is happening because Dana White is telling you exactly that. He's telling you that, hey, you know what? This fight is happening. But you don't know the date. Now, why is it that you don't know the date for Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. They don't want to just put this fight out anywhere. Now, does International Fight Week seem like a good idea to put this fight up? Of course, it's a very good idea to put this fight up in that matter, okay? Because it's the Super Bowl of MMA. International Fight Week has literally become the Super Bowl of MMA, so why not put the biggest heavyweight matchup that you can make in that card? Well, there's a lot of problems with that behind the scenes, and we're trying to investigate and find out exactly what that is. Adrian from Russia says, how are you, man? I'm very good, man. Thank you for tapping in with me this morning. I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that everybody is here. So check this out right here. Look at this. Mike Bibby returns as the Sac State coach, by the way. So a little interesting fact right there. If you guys are into basketball, he was a former Sacramento King, and now he is going to be the coach of my former college, Sac State. So that's quite an interesting situation right there. Now, what about Dricus versus Khamzat Chimaev? Why isn't this fight being announced? So there were rumors going around saying that Dricus is out of this fight. In fact, I even made a video about it. I may probably just have to take that video down due to the fact that there's a lot of misguided news information on that particular subject. Like, there is no confirmation that he is injured. And if he is injured, if Dricus is injured, it is only predicated on the fact that he wants to keep it a secret, or it may have leaked. You see, guys fight injured all the time. Conor McGregor has done it. Khabib will never do it. Khabib has never done it. Who else has fought injured? T.J. Dillashaw was injured when he fought Aljo in Abu Dhabi. You guys remember that fight? So a lot of guys fight injured. But in between that, they're not going to tell you. And how about the James Krause situation, right? If you guys don't know who James Krause is a UFC, well, an MMA coach, right? But he had a lot of UFC fighters in his stable. And one of his fighters was injured during a fight night. It was an Apex card. And he bet against his fighter knowing that the fighter is injured. And so he took advantage of that reality and decided to bet against him. Jolly Moon says, hi. Hi, how are you, my man? Let me know what part of the world you are from. And shout outs to everybody that is joining us this morning. So, I think if Dricus is injured, he doesn't want you to know that. I just want you guys to understand that, right? He does not want you to know that he's injured. And the reason why he doesn't want you to know he's injured is because he wants to go through this fight. Because fighters, I got to tell you, this is not breaking news. They are some of the most stubborn human beings that you will ever run across. Not only stubborn, but they also believe Issy Hustle. Shout out to you, my man, with the, I believe that's the Tongan flag. Is that the Tongan flag you got up right now? It's very small. I can't tell. But let me know, my man. So shout out to Izzy Hustle right here in Sacramento as I am driving downtown discussing with you guys UFC topics. So, okay, here we go. What else? What else is there right now? So George St-Pierre, I saw him yesterday at the Ariel Helwani show, right? I couldn't help but think GSP made this division. He made this division fun. He made this division amazing. Why did he make this division amazing? I mean, quite simply because of the long streak that he's had in terms of title defenses. Now, I don't know. I think Kamaru Usman may have beaten his record. No, I don't think he did. I don't think anybody has beaten George St-Pierre's record for most title defenses as of yet. So, man, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think he's ever. Yeah, I don't think no one is ever going to beat that record for a long time. Maybe Belal. Maybe Belal Muhammad has a chance to beat the record of GSP in most title defenses at 170. Perhaps there's a good chance that could be a reality. JDM, he could easily beat JDM. Let's not make any bones about that, okay? I think that he will beat in a heartbeat. Demetrius Johnson, yes, Demetrius I think had, but we're talking about 170, not overall. Yes, I think Demetrius Johnson is right up there with title defenses. I don't think that I don't think that had more overall for his weight. Yes, yes. Shout out to Garrett Otis right there. That's a true statement right there, my man. That's definitely a true statement. So with that, I think Belal Muhammad has a lot to live up to, right? Especially the fact that this fight is in Canada. On top of that, there's 3 different weight classes that are affected by this fight. You got 170, obviously, 155, and then you got 145 because Ilia Topuria is trying to figure out what he wants to do. Now, he wants to fight Islam. Islam doesn't want to fight him because he wants him to earn a title shot. What is his? GSP was the best at 170. He was. Eddie Wick says, dude, he's almost 40. Who's almost 40? Are you talking about Belal Muhammad? Khamzat is going to finish DDP relatively easy. Juiceman562. Shout out to Juiceman562. Juiceman562 says, hit the like button, y'all. Also hit the subscribe button as well. Eddie Wick says, John Jones is old. He don't want to fight a young guy. That's true. That's true. But Dana White is saying otherwise. Now, why is Dana White saying otherwise in the press conference? The only thing is that they don't have a date. Or is it that perhaps you are right, Eddie Wick, that he doesn't want to fight, that maybe it is Dana White in the background sort of trying to pull the punk card of John Jones? Because the UFC has had a reputation of doing so. You know what I'm talking about? Put it like this. There was a time where the UFC matchmakers, during the time of Joe Silva, when he was the man of the UFC, okay? When Joe Silva was the man of the UFC in terms of matchmaking, he would set up fights like this. He'd call up fighter A. Hey, fighter A, fighter B said you're a bitch, said yo mama, said this and that, said you're a punk, said you're no good, and he said that he could beat you. Fighter A says, fighter B said what? No way. When are we going to fight? And the next thing you know, he calls fighter B, and fighter B doesn't want to fight. Maybe you could use John Jones as the example of fighter B, and he'll say something to the effect of, well, I'm not ready right now, or this and that. And then Joe Silva would pressure fighter B into saying, well, he called you a bitch, he called you this and that. You see what I'm saying? Prime time instigator. That's really what it is, Garrett. The matchmakers are instigators because, well, you're in the business of fighting. It's what you do. You instigate fights. Now, they don't call it instigating. They call it matchmaking. They call it setting up fights. They call it whatever it is under the sun within the language of mixed martial arts, just so you can say that we're trying to get these fights done for the sake of money and for the sake of the notoriety of these fighters, right? Kind of like Ariel Helwani. Does Ariel Helwani do that? He does that in a way, right? He does that in a way. He's kind of really sneaky about the way he does things. And here's the thing about Ariel Helwani that I think is really interesting, something that I've learned from him, right? He's very disarming, right? Ariel Helwani is very disarming if you look at him. First off, did you guys know that Ariel Helwani is a black belt, not in jiu-jitsu, I believe in taekwondo or karate? Did you guys know that? Islam subs Ilya. Drizzy Goat says, shout out to Drizzy Goat. Drizzy Goat says, Khamzat by submission round 1. Garrett Otis says he doesn't make the fights, but he for sure makes fighters think about each other. That's true. That's true, because if you do that, if you make the fighters think about each other, what they're going to do is create a certain sense of animosity, right? Build up the animosity. Speaking of animosity, why is it that John Jones is adamant in saying that Tom Aspinall is being very disrespectful? Ariel Helwani, a black belt. Ariel couldn't jab a fly. Okay, Juiceman562 said Ariel Helwani, he's surprised that Ariel Helwani is a black belt. He couldn't jab a fly. Yo, here's the thing, right? Flies are pretty hard to jab at. right? You ever seen the Karate Kid where Mr. Miyagi had chopsticks and he's trying to catch flies with the chopsticks? It takes a lot of speed and dexterity to do that, but on any regard, yeah, Ariel Helwani is a black belt. Why I'm saying that, I'm not saying that because, okay, he can beat anybody's butt or this and that. Maybe he can. I mean, he won't beat my butt. He won't beat up any random UFC fighter or anything like that. But he can beat up the average man in the street that probably doesn't understand fighting to the degree that, let's say, an average mixed martial arts fan could understand, right? That's a possibility. But that's why he's disarming. I'm saying that because there's a lot of things about Ariel that can be very abrasive, that can be very aggressive, and you just don't know it because of the way that he carries himself. And I think that many people, Marvin Mata says, I can hear you now. Hey, shout out to you, my man. I just had the stream running earlier, and obviously the audio wasn't on. I don't know why. It seems like now my phone needs headphones every time I go out and do a live, but whatever. But shout out to you. 420 Vibes says, do you think John Jones is actually ducking or is it just money issues? I think it's a little bit of both. I think, look, John Jones right now holds on to the fact that he is the greatest fighter of all time, right? It's a very hard decision for John Jones. I want you to put this in perspective right now, how hard of a decision this is for John Jones, right? He's undefeated. He's got a legacy, but he has still yet to really have that Conor McGregor payday. Within that Conor McGregor payday comes a huge risk. You see, even Conor McGregor, the biggest pay that he got for the Floyd Mayweather fight, it was a risk to take that fight. Even though he was adamant and confident that he was going to win, it was still a risk because it's Floyd Mayweather by the end of the day, and he was only coming off of last year taking on Andre Berto. Right? That was literally his last fight before Conor McGregor. So it was Andre Berto, and then it was Conor McGregor as his 49 and 50th fight. And then after that, it was just nothing but exhibitions. Juice Man says, I honestly think it's more money than ducking, but yeah, both. Yeah, it's both. And the reason why I say it's both, here's something you got to understand, right? Human beings are extremely complicated people, are extremely complicated creatures. Very complicated creatures. For example, let me explain to you how complicated the human mind is. Okay, bro, please clean your nose. Yeah. Shaquille Remza, I'm going to time you out for that one. You're going to get a 24-hour ban for that one. Goodbye. Goodbye, Shaquille, whatever your name is. Jones should be stripped. Code Biscuit says, yeah, I could absolutely see a world where John Jones could get stripped, right? But right now, they're trying to pull his punk card. And as a result of trying to pull his punk card, I think, I think they want to dig into the ego of John Jones. So when they dig into the ego of John Jones, they have something. They have some kind of leverage. Meaning that they're not getting a clear no yet, but they're getting a possible yes. How old are you? ATM YouTube says, I am 39 going on 40. Nishak Rawat says, do you like to watch cricket? You know what, Nishat? I don't know where I could watch cricket, but I have seen a few local Indian and Pakistani guys out here in Sacramento go out to a park and have organized cricket games. And whenever I go out there and do some runs or do some workouts at the park, I do see them there, and I do sit and watch some of the cricket games. So shout out to you for that question. Code Biscuit says Tom will dominate Gunn at will on the ground. Yeah, because Cyril Gunn could be the possible replacement for that one. Code Biscuit says he is wasting Aspinall's prime years. He is. Yeah, he definitely is wasting his prime years on that one. Okay, guys, stay tuned, okay? I'm going to be... Do you know any Indian players? No, unfortunately, Nishak, I don't. I do know that the former Prime Minister of Pakistan was a former cricket player, Imran Khan, right? So I thought that was interesting. I always think it's interesting whenever you see sports figures get into politics. Obviously, Conor McGregor is trying to get into politics. Okay, so I want you guys to hold on real quick. I have to go and grab something real fast. Talk amongst yourselves because when I come back in less than 2 minutes, I'm going to talk about the complicated human psychology, okay, which kind of relates to this situation of John Jones of being both ducking and money issues while relating that to the human conditions in their minds of complexities. In other words, let's say you're a good father, you're a good husband, you're a good wife, you're a good homemaker, you're a good worker at your job, but you're also a serial killer. How does that happen? Do your thing, G. Okay, yeah, bro. Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on just a second. What's up? How you doing? Hey, y'all be closed early. You know, I pulled up here last night at 8:50. Oh, okay. So that's what y'all do. Y'all just close like at 8:50. So next time I should come before 8:50. Yeah, you should come before 8:50. Okay. A lot of times people that are coming in right at the beginning. Yeah. So okay. We're putting in the back here. Okay, for sure. For sure. About like let me grab something in the car real quick. Hold on. Are you Oh, okay, there we go. How about now? Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry, I hit the mute button. That's why. Can you guys hear me now? How about now? How about now? Can you guys hear me now? Let me know on the comment section below. Mic test 1 2 1 2. I think I'm on right now. Okay, so okay, good. Sorry about that. So what I was talking about earlier was that there are human complexities that are within human beings. Okay, while I was muted, what I was saying was that the reason why John Jones is both scared and also is negotiating money at the same time is because we as human beings are complicated. You see, there are people out there that are real killers, but at the same time, also while being real killers, they're also very nice people. This is a reality for a lot of people, okay? There's a lot of people out there that are kind-hearted, but at the same time, will also be some of the most dangerous people that you will ever run across. This is just the reality of human complexities. For example, take terrorists, for example, right? If you guys ever heard of this guy named Michael Scheuer, do you guys know who Michael Scheuer is? He's a CIA agent who was head of the Bin Laden unit during the 90s and the early 2000s. So this was the guy that was tasked to basically look and what the? Get out of the road. All right, sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, so what did Dart say here? Who is the most privileged fighter in your opinion, Jones or McGregor? Wow, man, Darts, that's a very good question right there. Who is the most privileged, John Jones or Conor McGregor? I'm going to have to say both, man. Both of these guys, they get away with murder. Like, literally, if John... Well, I don't know about that. I mean, not on some Aaron Hernandez tip, right? I'm sure that if Conor McGregor or John Jones did something like that, they would probably have to face the long arm of the law on that note, right? Or at least try not to get caught. I don't know, but I think if there was anybody that knows how to dodge a murder case, it would probably be John Jones. Conor McGregor, too, because Conor McGregor is Irish mob affiliated, and this is a known fact. Drew Butt asks, can I ask you a personal question, brother? Well, go ahead and shoot. I may shoot it down, but go ahead and give it a try. What topic do you like to talk about, Waldman Brave 52? Well, I do have a topic at hand that I have. Obviously, we're talking about John Jones and Tom Aspinall, why this fight hasn't been made yet. Dricus Duplessis, why this fight hasn't been made yet. And also, what else? Belal Muhammad, UFC 315, the legacy of George St-Pierre in Canada. So let's talk about that for a second, right? George St-Pierre reminds me of Bret Hart, right? At least before Bret Hart became a bad guy. I don't think GSP was ever a bad guy. The only time that Bret Hart was a bad guy in the WWE was when he was facing the Americans, where he basically went on this anti-American, pro-Canadian nationalist tip, right? He basically said, hey, you know what? In Canada, we take care of each other. There's no gun violence or this and that. But obviously, Drake's people will have something to say a little bit different on that subject. But yeah, George St-Pierre was never a bad guy. He was never a heel. He is like the consummate baby face, more than John Cena ever will, right? So he, yeah, man, George St-Pierre was a unique champion for a very unique time. Do you like to talk about history? I do, yes. I'm a bit of a history buff. Drew Broad says, why do you style your beard like that? Is that how it grows, or is that how you've shaved it and styled it? It's how I shave and style it, pretty much. I don't like having a mustache in my beard, so yeah, so I just keep it on that tip. Eddie Wick says, did you really think the Bay, was going to let Drake disrespect? Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Throwing some little Kendrick lines right there. Thanks for answering. Was just curious. Yeah. So which country history do you know? Well, I know a lot about the history of the United States. I know a lot about the history of Great Britain, dating back from the Middle Ages all the way to the time of King Henry, all the way to the time of King George. I know about the history of some parts of Europe. I know about the history of the Middle East. Oh my God, what is this truck doing in front of me? This truck is about to run me over right now. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is this dude doing? Sam Dream Chaser says, do you know the history of India? Yes. Which country are you from? I am from the United States of America, and I live in California. Sam Dream Chaser says, I look Malaysian. Well, I am half Pacific Islander and half Arabic, and there's a lot of Indonesians that probably have Arabic origins behind them. I mean, obviously, Islam was spread in that part of the world, so it's only natural that they're going to have an Arabic or some sort of Middle Eastern following. Here's the bridge of Sacramento right here, the Sacramento River. How are you, bro? Shout out to RJ, Sam Dream Chaser. If you had... All right, so Sam Dream Chaser, I'm going to put you on timeout for a stupid question like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put you on timeout for 5 minutes. Come back and redeem yourself. Hello, Chinese, Arabic, Indian, how are you doing? Hope you are having a wonderful day. Shout out to Tony on that one, man. Shout out to you, Tony, for giving me that shout out, my man. Okay. Show me your country, lucky bag. I did. And look, this is where the Oakland A's play right now, here at the Sutter Health Park. Right here. This is where the Oakland A's now play. So, bro, if you don't mind, what do you do for a living? Do you speak Hindi? Can you say something? No, I don't speak Hindi whatsoever. But I do speak a little bit of Arabic, so yeah. Yeah, so they got some fans right out here right now waiting for the Oakland A's Family Value Tuesday. Okay, what is that going on right there? Okay, so welcome to Sacramento, my beautiful city of Sacramento that I love very much. So I don't get a bit of connection error. What happened? Why did Sam get timed out? He got timed out because he asked something, very inappropriate when it came to, so some really inappropriate questions that I just chose not to be down with. Sorry, bro. No problem. Oh, okay. Tony says, oh, okay. You know what? Why are you so nice? Why am I so nice? Well, have you seen my training videos? I mean, look, I'm a trained martial artist. That's why I'm so nice. I'm so nice because I know in the back of my mind I could beat up the majority of people in the world. That's not including highly trained UFC fighters, of course, but even that, obviously, I still have a huge chance in that department. So yeah, that's why I'm nice, man. Most martial artists, or people that can fight are pretty nice, and that's the reason why. What do you know about U.S. history? Walden Brave says. Well, there's not a lot of history to go off, right? You have the American Revolution. If you want to start the history there, obviously America's history dates back further than that. But the land in and of itself has a vast history beyond just the colonial days or the days of George Washington and John Adams. But after George Washington, then there's the American Revolution. Then there's Thomas Jefferson making their first expedition with the Marines in Libya. Did you know that? Did you know that the U.S. first Middle Eastern expedition was in Libya in the 1700s during the time of Thomas Jefferson. So when you look at the Marine Corps sword that is given to NCOs, non-commissioned officers, and officers, things of that nature, when they're holding up that sword in the Marine Corps, that was a sword that was given by a Libyan prince because the U.S. Marines came down there with a bunch of mercenaries to fight the brother of the Libyan prince to take over that country. So Lucky Bro said, oh, wait, what did he here say? No, I have not seen the videos. Love from Romania. Shout out to Romania. Okay, we got some of Andrew Tate's people up in here. Tony from Romania. Nishak says, who's your favorite WWE wrestler? Because in India, only WWE is famous. Okay, so WWE is big in India, huh? I know that's why they had Jinder Mahal as a former champion. They had the great Khali, who was also a champion from India. Who else? Tiger Ali Singh was also a very big name in the Indian pro wrestling circuits. But yeah, I guess now they're trying to make their way into the UFC. Of course, there's a few Indian fighters in the UFC right now, and maybe a couple in ONE FC. Nishak says, Verman NXT. Oh, yeah, Verman from NXT. After they fight in Africa in Barbary Wars. Yes. Shout outs to Walden for that one. Lucky Bag says, I want to learn fast English like your country people speak. Okay, so you basically want to speak English in a very fluent and expeditious manner is what you're saying. Okay. Finn says hello. Lucky Bag says, wow, you remember the great Khali? Of course, man. Don't get it twisted. I may have an MMA and boxing page, but I am also a WWE fan. And you know what? I haven't watched wrestling in a while up until John Cena became a bad guy. So I was like, you know what? I want to see what this is about. What is John Cena about as a bad guy? And I thought it was really interesting, so I tapped in on that. Thoughts on the American Civil War, Walden Brave says. So, thoughts on the American Civil War. I think that the American Civil War is still going on today. Believe it or not. It's going on today, but it's in a different form and it's a different setting. And there are people in the South that still hold on to the Confederate ideals. And as a result of that, I think that it's one of those things in history that will never be forgotten. Bro, which video game do you like? Finn says, I am in the hospital today. Hey, shout out to Finn. I hope that you feel better, and I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to have you in my prayers, Finn. So everybody that's out there, please give Finn your prayers, thoughts, and positive affirmations as he is struggling to be in the hospital right now. So shout out to you, my man, Finn. And please, in the next live stream session that I do, please come back. Let me know how you feel and let me know how you got on with your situation, inshallah. Nishak says, bro, which video games do you like? I like GTA. I like the UFC video games. I like boxing video games. So that's basically it. GTA, UFC, and boxing video games like Fight Night, Undisputed, and all that. So let's see. Walden Brave here says, U.S. involvement in World War I. What would you like to talk about the U.S. involvement in World War I? Matthew Crawford says, bet you don't remember Maya Cox. Bet you don't remember Maya stinks. Yeah, I don't know if that's a setup. Do you like to play Valorant? I have played that, actually. Yes, I have played that game. Yes, that's quite an interesting game. EDE Almighty says, where's Jake at, Finn? With a smiling face. So, okay, I think that's all caught up in the chat right now. Okay, so next topic at hand that I want to talk about is Dubois and Usyk. Because obviously we've seen Usyk get shoved by Dubois at the face-off. I believe this fight is going to be taking place at Wembley Stadium. and it's going to be on July 19th. That's going to be the same day as, I believe, UFC 318. Is it 318? Yeah, 318, and that is with Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway. How do you think Woodrow Wilson handled the U.S.? Okay, EDE Almighty says Adventure Time. Crawford about to fight Canelo. Well, Canelo has a fight this weekend. I actually have to do a live stream or a video about that. And yeah, he's going. I don't know, man. It seems like it's going to be an easy fight for him. I don't know. It seems like an easy fight, but you never know. I don't know much about this Skull dude, right? But after this fight, him and Crawford are going to fight in September, because obviously September is a big Mexican Independence Day card. And so I think they're going to have that fight right around that time. Canelo agrees to it. Crawford is agreeing to it. And I think Canelo is only using this fight with Skull. I don't know if it's pronounced Skull or Skull, but yeah, it seems like an easy fight. With Crawford, with Canelo, yeah, it is. It seems like an easy fight. Seems, but you never know. You never know. Crawford said Canelo is bigger than him, but shorter than him. Yeah. Crawford is, he's a little bit taller than Canelo, isn't he? Canelo is like what? Maybe 5'7", and maybe Crawford is 5'9". So this whole idea of weight or disadvantage, I mean, it's not much. I think Canelo and Crawford are like the perfect match for each other. Yeah, they seem like the perfect match for each other because of that dynamic alone. Crawford is a little bit taller, but Canelo is stocky. He's a stocky 160-pound dude, right? It's very, very buff at his size. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. I can't wait for that one. But I also can't wait for Dubois and Usyk. I'm going to tell you why. I truly believe there is a chance that Usyk gets knocked out by Dubois. And if he does, man, I think the world is going to be in shock. Now, look, I understand Usyk. He's 39, 40 years old, right? Still at his prime, still at his best. And you've seen that with Tyson Fury. But Dubois is young, and at some point, Usyk is going to age out. Nishak asks, do you watch TNA? I did back in the day. I watched TNA back in the days when Kurt Angle was in it. Obviously, when AJ Styles was in it as well. I remember Frank Trigg, the former UFC fighter, featured in TNA one time. So, yeah, I've dabbled into that a little bit. I remember when they had the main event Mafia going on and this and that. So, shout outs there. Hey, guys, say hi to my MMA podcast. Say hi to Kyrie Abu El-Kheer MMA podcast.
Kyrie, you the man.
That's right. Yeah, I'm on live stream right now. Thank you, guys. There it is, right? I love my town, man. I love, the positive reaffirmation that I get from people around here. So, okay, Rusev is back after 4 years. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I seen that. I heard rumors that that Rusev was going to come back in Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and so he did. He definitely did. Edie Almighty says it'll be like the big Mexican knocking out Anthony Joshua. Yes, that could potentially be what is going to happen on July 19th, and man, I can't wait for it. Because if there's any time to do that to Usyk, it is right now. I know that right now, on paper, Usyk is the man. I know that right now, Usyk has all of the above when it comes to being in his prime and all of that, right? But when you're 39 and 40, you can age overnight. I mean, I'm 39 and 40, right? Look at the workout videos that I got going on, right? It's insane. I still do explosives. I still lift heavy. I still do box jumps. I still have a high vertical leap. I still am very explosive. But I don't know, man. You know what? Usyk is Usyk, and at some point he does get old. Like we all get old at some point, and it could show up on the very night where, let's say, he just has the wrong aches and pains going on, right? He didn't recover from a certain injury or this and that, right? Like all of these factors can come into play. And right now, the way that Dubois is looking, he's looking very aggressive and very determined, which is why he shoved him during the press conference. What else is in here? Sam Treem Jacer acting all tough like I ain't have you gripping them. Okay, so I'm not keeping this between us anymore. Okay, so you're put on timeout for 24 hours, Dream Chaser. I'm sorry for that. Sorry, not sorry. Whoa, what the what? Jason Brophy. Shout out to Jason Brophy. Hope all is well, my dude. I'm 46. Happens when you hit 40 downhill. I trained all my life. 40 hits body turning. Yeah. Black Dream Chaser. Trophy says. Nishrak says Joe Hendry, TNA champion, was also I did. I saw that matchup because obviously Kevin Owens was supposed to fight Randy Orton, and I don't know what happened with Kevin Owens. I think he had an injury of some sort, and so because of that, I think they had to bring in Joe Hendry. Now I didn't know who he. Obviously, they were just like, okay, he's a TNA champion. You're bringing him in here. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of whenever you bring these regional champions in MMA to come in and fight on a short notice in the UFC. Right? That's what it reminds me of. It reminded me of Islam Makhachev fighting Armin Tsarukyan for the first time, if you guys remember, right? That was literally the UFC debut of Armin Tsarukyan. Like, no pressure, right? A neck injury took a stinger. Block. Okay. Neck injury took a stinger. Is that in reference to Kevin Owens or your own injury, Jason Brophy? Let me know on the comment section below. So Kevin Owens, okay, so that's what he had going on. He had a neck injury. Okay, yeah, you definitely can't wrestle with that. Because here's the thing, right? Even if you have, let's say, an arm injury going into WrestleMania, you can still perform because you're not in a real fight. You can tell the other guy, hey, listen, I got, a bad arm right here. Just try to watch this arm right here, right? Something to that extent. So, yeah, that is a possibility in and of itself right there. So, yeah, man, that's a great possibility. Okay, so, bro, can you do one single push-up or not? Man, I can do more than a push-up. Have you seen my workout videos, bro? Man, at 40 years old, I'm an elite athlete. I'm not saying that to be braggadocious or anything. I'm saying that as a